Let's consider the following program segment. A equals 0x7f, b equals 0x80. So what it's saying, if 7f is less than 80, do this, else do that. Now when we first look at it, 7f less than 80, you'd think it's going to do this. And you'd be correct if we're talking unsigned char. But if we take a look up here, 7f is the most positive, 80 is the most negative, so it's going to do that if these a and b are declared as signed char. So we really have to know, are these signed or unsigned char, because how the comparison is done is going to depend on whether they're signed or unsigned numbers. So we have to be careful when we're programming in C to understand this is the layout for signed and this unsigned layout is a little different. But how does the computer work this out in terms of hardware? And the way it does this is quite simple. If it's comparing two numbers like 7f and 80, it does a subtraction. From the subtraction, it sets NZVC. Based on NZVC, it determines whether or not 7f is less than 80 as unsigned using just the C bit, or signed using the N and the V bit. Now let's look at the simpler one here. The test for unsigned char to see if one number is less than the other number is C equal 1. If C equals 1, then 7f is indeed less than 80. And why would that be the case? Let's think about that. When do we generate a borrow? When this number is bigger than this number, which means this number must be less than this number. So when 7f is less than 80, the carry set, and that makes perfect sense. For signed numbers, it uses the N and the V bit. Now we haven't looked at exclusive OR yet, but just understand that the way exclusive OR works is if these numbers are different, then we get a 1. If these numbers for N and V are the same, we're going to get 0. So what it's really saying is N exclusive OR B equals 1 are N and V different, then the condition is true. If we look here, N is 1, V is 1, they're the same, so the condition is not true, and 7f is not less than 80, as we can see from here. So it's very important to understand NZVC at the hardware level, because at the hardware level, this is how it's going to determine if values are less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and for all control flow is going to be based at the hardware level on NZVC.